about the training that goes down at the Mount Everest base camp. Because keep in mind, these people are hanging out here for 4 to 6 weeks. And the last thing they're doing is roasting marshmallows. Grab your popcorn and get comfortable. So remember, the climbers, they just got done trekking for 8 to 12 days just to arrive at the base camp. What are they doing during the 4 to 6 weeks? Like I said before, the first things they're going to start working on is the rotation climbs. This is where climbers hike up to the higher camps and then come back down to the base camp. They go back and forth. They do this back and forth, back and forth. Why are they doing this? Because they're preparing their body to go up to higher altitudes. So they'll ascend during the day, then they'll recover in the evening at the base camp. Now, I don't know if I told y'all this, but the distance between base camp and Camp 1 is 4.5 miles. And it typically takes the climbers 6 to 8 hours to get from base camp to Camp 1. And you're going to find out why. Next, they do a lot of strength and endurance training. Even though the climbers spend months before preparing for this climb, they still have to keep their fitness up. Yeah, you don't get to just chill here, baby. You're still working. That means a lot of them are practicing hikes around the base camp just to keep their legs strong. If you didn't know, whenever they're going up and down these camps, they have to carry about 20 to 30 pounds on their back for their personal items, first aid kits, food. And of course, they're doing a lot of stretching so they don't cramp up halfway through the mountain. The next thing they're doing is practicing technical skills. Now, baby, get ready for this. So during base camp, they practice walking on these things. These are crampons. By the way, they run about $200. These crampons are used to walk on ice. This is an example of what they have to climb up. This is at the Khumbu Ice Fall. We'll get into that later. They practice using these ice axes. These ice axes are absolutely necessary to help them climb up them big old structures of ice. Another thing the climbers practice with is the rope and ladder. And there's a very significant reason as to why they practice with rope and ladder. A lot of the training at the base camp is preparing them to go through the Khumbu Ice Fall. Let's talk about what the Khumbu Ice Fall is. The Khumbu Ice Fall is one of the deadliest parts of climbing Mount Everest. This ice fall is made up of huge, massive ice blocks and crevasses so big and so deep that they can swallow houses. The Khumbu Ice Fall is constantly shifting to the point where avalanches and falling ice make this area a really big risk. So remember, I was telling y'all about the training. They have to practice using ropes and ladders. This is why. Climbers have to cross these really huge crevasses on aluminum ladders that are tied with ropes. And imagine having to cross that. Why are y'all doing this on purpose? Imagine balancing on a shaking ladder hundreds and hundreds of feet above the air. Nothing holding you but a thin piece of rope. Climbers have to tackle Khumbu Falls early in the morning before the sun hits. Do you know why? Because once it warms up, the ice starts to shift. Increasing the dangers of collapsing. Again, why are we doing this?